Yo, what's going on, everybody? It's your boy CV with another reaction video. This one's going to be on Elvis Presley. This is going to be a long video, and it's called The Last 24 Hours. Because my internet is so bad right now, it's literally caca. So to upload it, it's going to take a while. Yeah, I'm just going to split it up into two, and that way, hopefully, it can upload a little bit quicker. It's still going to take a while, but a little bit quicker. Anyways, let's get these videos to 100 likes if we can. Appreciate you guys, man. Let's do it. And by the way, this shirt that I'm wearing, it's so funny. It says "Make Music Great Again." Like, when people see this shirt, first of all, I got a lot of good compliments, but when people see it, first thing they think about is Trump, and that's why I made the shirt. And man, you could see it in their face just looking at me with disgust, and then once they read it, they just go, "Oh, he got me." People are so quick to like judge and just jump out the window, man. You know what I mean? Anyways, yes, but I got a lot of good compliments from it. And, you know, when they say, "Hey, nice shirt," I just give them a business card of like, "Hey, I made the shirt." So, you know what I'm saying? It's business, man. All right, let's get into it, man. Elvis Presley, The Last 24 Hours. Let's do it. Make sure volume is up.
Touchdown in the land of the dead.
Memphis, Tennessee, the home of the late, great Elvis Presley.
W.C. Handy, won't you look down over me?
Who's this singing?
Yeah, I got a first-class ticket, but I'm as blue as a boy can be. Then I'm walking in Memphis, just walking
sounds
with
good.
my feet 10 feet off a beam. Walking in Memphis.
Here, for the first time, Elvis's closest friends and confidants, known as the Memphis Mafia, tell their own emotional story of Elvis's last few hours on Earth.
The Memphis Mafia? Okay.
I turned him over, and I knew he was dead. And I knew he was dead. I just knew it.
Needless to say, a lot of times I've listened to an Elvis song and just broke down, you know, and cried.
Elvis took drugs because he liked them. Everybody thinks of trying to escape anything. He just fucking loved them.
And I get pissed off at the people that helped contribute to it. But I get pissed off at Elvis. He was a smart man. He knew what he was doing, but he denied it.
Man,
I threatened the doctor. I said, if I ever see this man in this shape again, I will go all the way.
Never got that chance.
Colonel Parker walks up to me. We stand toe-to-toe, and he stares coldly into my eyes. He says, "The only thing that's important is that that man is on stage tonight. Nothing else matters. Nothing."
Sun Studios in
The
Memphis.
song is nice.
It was here 50 years ago that rock and roll was born. And so began the legend that is Elvis Presley. In the course of a glorious career, Elvis would take the world by storm, starting in 1954 with his first hit, That's All Right Mama.
I'm leaving town, baby. I'm leaving town for sure. Well, then you won't be bothered with me hanging around your door, but that's all right. That's all right, now, mama, anyway.
Elvis was a
Wait a second. All the songs that's been requested of Elvis, this was not requested. I don't remember that song being requested by anyone, actually. I'm gonna have to look that up.
very, very shy, retiring type individual. He didn't like to be around new people. He didn't trust them. He trusted us. We were a source of comfort. He could be what he wanted to be around us. He could be himself. If there was an Elvis himself, and it was around us. He didn't like, Elvis did not make friends easy. He just didn't like to do it. And with us, he didn't have to do it. And with us, we all could be what we wanted to be, and he could be the same.
Just
3 p.m. Thursday, the 15th of August, 1977. Elvis is preparing
That's my birthday month, August, and I wasn't even born. 1977?
for yet another back-breaking tour, the second tour of that year. Elvis's girlfriend, Ginger Alden, didn't want to go on tour with him. Ginger was just 21 and not prepared to bow to his every demand, something Elvis was used to, even during his doomed marriage to Priscilla.
I'd be lost without your love.
Over the years, his Memphis Mafia had supplied him with a string of compliant girls.
If you've got wealth and looks, they're really going to come.
I mean, did the Mafia really got to go get him girls? Like, no, come on.
And they're going to come fast and hard. And what you have to do is on a continual basis weed them out, because you got to weed the squirrels out from the lambs, and the squirrels cause you more trouble than a lamb ever cause you. Not because they eat a lot of nuts, but it's because they, they're crazy, and this is the problem.
He was so charismatic that he would draw, he was like, they were like moths flying around a flame.
The girl of my best friend.
It's funny to me today, because just for the hell of it, one Saturday night, at a time when there was only 7 of us, including Elvis. See, on Friday night and Saturday night, Elvis used to let all the girls in that hung around the gates. And one Saturday night, just for the hell of it, I was bored. So I went around the house and I counted all the women that were in the house with us 7 guys. And this
30?
is not an exaggeration. There was 152 women there.
Man, I thought I was in heaven. What can I say? It was exciting all the time, and I thought, man, if this is a dream, I don't ever want to wake up, so. But it had its moments
that is
too.
A dream.
But overall, if you look at it, it was such an exciting time. It was something new. Elvis was gifted with the fact that he was constantly looking for something new to do. And you never knew what this man was going to come up with,
The phenomenal part of it was that the screaming and the hollering, and you couldn't hear, they wouldn't stop. And it would, he could sing a number, nobody even knew what he said. It was just pandemonium. It never stopped.
They don't even know what he's talking about. They don't know what song he's singing, but it doesn't matter.
Draw to him emotionally and physically, where you looked at him and you thought, that is probably about the best looking man I've ever seen, And
what's crazy? Like, I even said that myself. Like, you don't hear men talking about other men's looks like people talk about Elvis. I'm serious about that. Like, I caught myself, I was like, man, he's a handsome guy. You know what I'm saying? I don't go that way, but I'm like, he's a handsome guy. You know what I'm saying? I think most guys even thinks he's like Elvis is handsome, and guys will say without any whatever. But you know what I'm saying.
He just had a charisma about him I've ever
like he
seen.
He just said it.
And he just had a charisma about him. He had a way of pulling you in. People call it Southern charm. He had it in spades.
8 p.m., Thursday, the 15th of August, 1977. Elvis goes to the dentist in search of prescription drugs. He's accompanied by Ginger, Billy Smith, and Billy's wife, Jo.
In the movie years, the drugs were in control. The sleeping pills and the uppers for the energy level. I couldn't take them every day. Not to be the goody-goody, but I just couldn't take that pill because I knew what it was going to do to me. Make my mouth dry, it was just going to make me wired all day, and I just didn't want to do it. But I had to take them sometimes because he would stay up to 3 o'clock in the morning, 2:30, 3 o'clock, and we get up at 5 to go on location, and there's no way, and I learned from the very start, I sleep when he sleeps.
Fire! On the way!
The guys around Elvis, we were just, we stayed wired up all the time.
We didn't go to bed till, 2 o'clock.
We
all
stayed
the time.
Wired up all the time.
We didn't go to bed till, 2 o'clock
like
in the evening. And it was tiring after a while. And so we'd take a little speed to stay up the next day. And a lot of times we couldn't go to sleep because we were high and we had to take a sleep pill to go to sleep. And
Wow.
we lived that way for a long time. We really lived hard.
They took pills to stay up and then took pills to go to sleep because you can't come down. Like you just wired up.
But luckily we were young, we could do it.
Amidst the fun and games, there were already warnings of what excessive drug use would bring.
One time, I forget, we were going so hard that Elvis started getting a bloody nose. And we went to the doctor, and the doctor said, you guys need to get some rest. His resistance was getting down, and he kept getting a bloody nose, so we had to rest for a couple of days.
Wow.
Elvis did everything to excess. He had massive appetites for food, sex, drugs, and rock and roll. He approached his search for spiritual serenity in the same enthusiastic way. Larry Geller was Elvis's personal hairdresser and spiritual guru.
Elvis had a beautiful head of hair. I mean, the man had everything. He even had the hair. It was a little fine. It lacked body, but he had a beautiful head of hair. And I remember I sprayed it, and I was molding it. And I said, so what do you think, Elvis? And he said, oh, great, great, great. And he swirled around in his chair. He looked and said, but I want to ask you a question. My hair is great, but what's more important to me is this. What are you really into, Larry? What are you really all about? It really threw me for a loss for a moment. I mean, here's a person who was totally straightforward. And I said, Elvis, I mean, you know that I work with celebrities and I do their hair. This is what I do for a living. But what's more important to me than anything else is my search for truth, to find the purpose for living. I said, look, I know you're Elvis Presley, you're the biggest star in the world. I know this must sound corny to you. He said, wait a minute, Larry, wait. Wow. That's not corny at all. You have no idea how I need to hear what you have to say about this. Please, man, just keep on talking. And I did.
Wow.
The Self-Realization Park, which is close to the ocean in Southern California, in the Pacific Palisades, was a place that Elvis loved to visit. And the monks that lived there became friends with Elvis. And Elvis would love to just leave the world, walk around the park, enjoy the serenity. And people left him alone. They recognized him, because a lot of people do go there. It's a very special place. And nobody bothers anyone. Elvis would go into the chapel.
What does that say? Everything can wait?
A very special place. And nobody bothers anyone.
Everything else can wait, but our search for God cannot wait.
Elvis would go into the chapel and he would meditate. We would go in the back and speak with some of the monks. They would reveal and explain certain experiences that they would have. We'd walk around the lake. Elvis loved the park.
I'm the same way though, man. I don't like too many people around me.
How come I
man.
having an experience? I want to feel God. I said, well, Elvis, look, it doesn't happen like that. When you want something, you want it now and you expect it. You have to be patient and you have to surrender your ego.
Wow.
In his latter years, Elvis embarked on a punishing touring schedule, organized by his manager, Colonel Tom Parker.
He didn't like the idea of doing, 2 shows a night, sometimes 3, 7 days a week, and it bothered him.
That's crazy.
And it festered and festered and festered. It's like when I called him from L.A. when we were going to do that last tour. And I said, you just need to shut it down. I said, fuck the tour. I said, cut it off. Let's just, I said, let's just cancel this tour out. And he said, Lamar, I've got a payroll. Which, when you say that, you go, well, he's right. But at the same time, I told him, I said, listen, you got 2 or 3 guys around here that'll go to Hawaii with you. And I said, we'll hang out and you just, and you can get yourself back together again. He said, let's talk about that after this tour's over. It sounds like a good idea. He didn't make it.
With his records no longer selling, Elvis's only income came from these tours. And being 40 plus, he no longer had a huge following. He was teetering on the brink of financial...
Wait, why was his records not selling? Is it the sex appeal? Is that what happened? Because he said the records are not selling. He's not selling. He's not making money. What was it? Like, I'm sure you guys can give me some sort of idea. So You know, is it because he gained the weight? The sex appeal is no longer there. The drugs, and people just kind of got turned off. What was happening around that time?
No longer selling. Elvis's only income came from these tours.
And this is
and
August
being 40 plus, he no
77.
longer had a huge following. He was teetering on the brink of financial.
No longer he didn't have a following. I'm like, I feel like he's getting more following. Well, not followers, but he's getting more fans today. I think I'm certainly one of them. So yeah, I don't know what was happening that people just stopped following him.
Financial meltdown. Touring paid the bills for now, but 50% of the income went to Tom Parker.
Damn,
the Colonel, too,
50?
was facing bankruptcy.
Colonel Parker probably was one of the most degenerate gamblers I've ever known in my life.
Oh, yeah, okay.
In Nevada, they used to say his money's not worth anything. He played roulette and would put chips on every number. He would play craps and bet the horn, the center. One night I was up about, I think I was up $50,000, $60,000. Remember, I was running the crap table crazy, and he came up and took my money and put it on Don't Pass.
Wow.
No, on Pass.
Yeah.
No, Don't Pass.
You threw a 7.
And I threw
50?
a 7 and lost it all. One pop.
Wow.
And I wanted to throw up, but I couldn't. And I said, Jesus, God, I said, I've worked my butt off here. I said, he said, how much did you start off with? I said, I started off with $2,000. So he counted out $2,000 and gave it to me. He said, now you're even. And I went, God.
Wow.
But I mean, he was right. I was even. I was
Colonel
even.
gambled in a way.
I only lost $2,000.
We all have our little idiosyncrasies.
That was
and
his.
his was gambling. And
I was just about to say, like, these guys are doing heavy drugs, and this guy, he's not. The manager's not doing drugs, but he has his vice, which is gambling, just as worse. Just as worse.
Loved him to death, but he didn't play the game like you have to play it to win. I mean, he would go through with those on roulette, and he would drop 5 or 6 chips there, 2 on that one, 10 or 12 on this one, and that's whatever fell out of his hand.
Yeah,
that's what he do. And when he hit, he didn't really win because he had more bet than what it was.
But he thought he did.
Yeah.
I mean, listen. One night in between shows, this was in '70, and we were at the crap table. And he called me and said, listen, he said, you got to stay with me here. And I said, well, I said, I've got to go upstairs early. He said, no, you stay here. He said, I'll get you up there on time. And I said, okay. So in a period of an hour and a half, he lost over $1.25 million.
Come on back and let's play a little house so we can do what we did before. Now, baby,
$1 million?
One night,
in '77?
Casino. I just
That's a
left
lot of
Elvis.
money.
This is after his show. And I noticed there was a large group of people roped off, and they were all in front of a table watching someone gamble. And as I walked up, it was Colonel Parker, by himself at the table with stacks of chips. And he was playing the sucker's game of all games. It was called the Wheel of Fortune.
I love Wheel of Fortune, though.
The odds of winning that game are the worst. It's better if you play craps or blackjack. At any rate, he's at the table and he spots me in the crowd. Larry, he said, come on, come here, sit next to me. He said, I'm not doing too well. I need some luck. Give me some good thoughts, Larry.
Oh, boy.
I said, okay, Colonel, and I felt so uncomfortable. I really did. After about 5-10 minutes, I said, Colonel, maybe you'll do better now. I hope you will, but I have to get back upstairs because Elvis needs me. I told him I was just going to walk down for a few minutes. So I left. The Colonel was there for hours upon hours upon hours until like 5 o'clock in the morning, and he lost $1.5 million that night.
Wow.
As Elvis prepared for his last tour that would start in Portland, Maine on August the 17th, it was clear that he had no choice but to perform if he were to remain solvent. And for Tom Parker, it was essential that his gambling losses were covered. Elvis had turned into the...
This dude is not the act. Elvis is, and yet he's getting 50% of his revenue, and yet he can't keep, and he's broke. Obviously, we know why, but like, it's crazy to me. The dude is not really doing much. Elvis is doing, he's the he's the show. And this dude is still broke. Like, gambling is just as bad as drugs, alcohol. It's the same thing, man.
The Colonel's own cash cow.
We were on tour.
Right.
Elvis had turned into the Colonel's own cash cow.
Right,
We were
yeah.
on tour in Louisville, Kentucky. And this was about 4 months before Elvis passed away.
If you're from Kentucky, don't be offended, but I'll never go to Kentucky again. I was in Kentucky for a soccer tournament. I almost got killed because I actually had a red shirt on. There was a couple of gangs who came up to me and said, "Why are you wearing red?" I'm like, "Hey, man, I'm just on a soccer team, and our soccer team, we wear red shirt. That is it." And I was what? I was 17 years old, and I'm just like, I didn't know there was gangs like that in Kentucky where it's Bloods and the Crips. Like, if you wear red, it's the Bloods, blue is the Crips. But I didn't think Kentucky was that crazy. And so, yeah, I went to the mall, tried to get something to eat. And yeah, they try to get your boy CV, but I was like, nah, man, this is a soccer team. I'm not with any gang. But yeah, I wouldn't go back to Kentucky, man. I'm sorry. It was boring anyways.
And
we
this
won the
was
tournament.
about 4 months before Elvis passed away. And Elvis, the night before, had a very difficult time. And this was about 4 months.
Elvis had turned into the Colonel's own cash cow.
I'll
We
try
were on
not to stop
tour
again. Sorry.
in Louisville, Kentucky. And this was about 4 months before Elvis passed away. And Elvis, the night before, had a very difficult time. He felt he had a fever. He felt nauseous. He felt flu-like. He couldn't sleep. He had a very, very difficult night. It was late afternoon, and Dr. Nick was Elvis's doctor, who traveled with us, was in the bedroom with Elvis. I was in the front room. The television was on, and there was a pounding on the door, which was very unusual because we owned that floor. No one was allowed there. We had security cops positioned in front of the elevators. Everything was blocked off.
Damn.
So who would knock on the door like that? So I immediately walked over to the door, looked through the peephole, and there's Colonel Parker, who never came to visit Elvis on tour. I opened the door. I said, "Colonel." He said, "Where is he?" I said, "Well, he's in the bedroom. Let me tell him you're here." He said, "No, I'm going right in." So he, with his cane, he walked past me. He opened the door, and this is what I saw. Dr. Nick was holding Elvis's head. Elvis is in the bed, semi-conscious, almost comatose.
What?
And he was moaning. He was in such bad shape. And Dr. Nick was dunking Elvis's head into a bucket of ice water to revive him. The door closed. And I thought immediately, okay, this is good. This is good. Now the old man, Parker, is going to see what's going on here. He's going to see how bad, the bad shape Elvis is in. And he's going to do something about it.
I mean,
he can't allow this to go on.
This
It's
dude
inhuman.
is crazy. No.
90 seconds later, the door opened up. Colonel Parker walks up to me and and I get up. We stand toe to toe, and he stares coldly into my eyes. He says, "Now you listen to me. The only thing that's important is that man is on stage tonight.
Jesus.
Nothing else matters. Nothing."
There's a lot of them. I can't think of any offhand. I like to live up to my reputation of being a nice guy. This is it, folks.
Nice guy, huh?
While committed to a hectic touring schedule at the behest of the Colonel, and with mounting financial and physical problems, Elvis and his mafia had become more and more isolated from the real world.
Well, I knew over the years Elvis was very isolated from the outside world. We didn't know what was going on the outside. We very seldom read the paper. We watched a lot of sports, a lot of TV shows. We didn't hardly watch the news. We were very, very much hidden from everything going on the outside.
We lived in an insulated world within our own group. And our group, I mean, somebody said that Elvis really never left his bedroom. Well, he didn't. Elvis would get on his airplane bedroom and go to a hotel bedroom, and would go from a hotel bedroom to his Graceland bedroom.
Elvis over the
that is not a fun time. Like, to just be hidden away from people, especially people who love you, like the fans. But I get it. Like, you gotta protect them, because some fans are, you know, crazy. But yeah, I mean, that's a sad life, man. Just in the bedrooms all day, every day, whether it's the plane, the hotel, wherever he is, he's in the bedroom, not going out, not, I don't know, man. That's just not that doesn't seem fun to me, man.
Years, every once in a while, he'd get like that. He'd go to his upstairs, and he might spend a week or two and not even show his face.
Wow.
But that was only like a week or two. Now we're talking about months, you know.
What?
10 p.m., August the 15th, 1977. The guys were assembling in Memphis for what would prove to be one tour too far. By the mid-70s, Elvis's drug habit had become a serious threat to his life.
In 1975, what I had been seeing a little bit of the previous
2 years
year
prior
or so was getting worse, and I was very concerned about his health. It wasn't like it had been before when he was taking the uppers and the sleeping pills. When he started experimenting with the, you know, the down stuff, that's when we started getting concerned, all of us, not just me.
In 75, that's 2 years
the down
ago.
stuff
So
is like Demerol and things like that, pain medication that brings you and lets you down and you kind of just float, you know. Dilaudid is like a synthetic, and it's 5 times more powerful than pure morphine.
Oh,
mostly
my God.
given for cancer patients, terminally ill cancer that just couldn't handle the pain.
Damn.
But see, in his mind were not illegal drugs. These were prescription drugs. Now, the doctor's writing them for him. He's abusing them, but they're not illegal drugs in his mind.
I got a call from Elvis.
Damn.
Saying, Jerry, can you help me? And I said, what are you talking about? And he said, I'm on the floor, I can't get up. And I said, who's there? And he said, nobody. So I ran downstairs. I don't know what car I got into, whatever. Went to the doctor's house, and sure enough, Elvis was there. This was a proud man. You know, he was even proud around us. And this broke my heart.
And he's asking for help.
He was
Just to
on
get
the
up?
floor. So we picked him up, put him in bed. His legs really just wasn't working. I was hurt, I was angry.
Damn. What's up with the mafia?
And I waited downstairs for the doctor to come in. And I said, what?
But it is hard to protect him from that stuff, though, because, you know, the whole mafia crew, like, what can you really say to him? Like, you know, he's paying you. You work for him. You know? Like, you would have to... I think the only person that could really reach him and get into Elvis' head would be the hairdresser and the guy that's helping him with, you know, with life and all that stuff. He might be the only guy that can really reach him, and he would probably listen to him, but that's sad, man.
And I waited downstairs for the doctor to come in. And I said, what the hell is going on? He said, what are you talking about? And I told him what I'd just gone through. And he said, well, you know, this liquid diet, and we're not giving him any drugs, we're just giving him placebos. And I threatened the doctor. I said, if I ever see this man in this shape again, I will go all the way.
Damn.
I go upstairs, and Elvis is on a stationary bicycle. Just, I mean, he's going full speed. She probably hadn't been out of the bed in 4 weeks, right?
Wow.
And Charlie doesn't know what's going on. He doesn't know about my meeting with the doctor and everything. And damn it, Charlie, when you get your medical degree, you can start telling the doctors how to treat me, and he was furious.
Elvis took drugs because he liked them. There was no, everybody thinks that there's some sort of supercilious situation where he would develop this thing of trying to escape anything. He just fucking loved them. He loved drugs. I mean, I'm talking when he would sit and say, and I'd sit down and say, Elvis, you don't need to take all this shit. He said, I need it. When a person has that mentality, there is no way you can stop them. They're going to do it.
Yeah, I hear what he's saying, but still, you still have to try, man. Just because somebody says, I love them, and that's it. That's you. That's your excuse of saying. Now, I'm not saying like, you don't blame Elvis. Of course you blame Elvis, right? But to say, all right, if he says he loves it, then just let him keep doing it. I don't understand that. If I see that he's in horrible condition, I'm going to do my best to really intervene and just say, dude, you got to stop this. You got to even threaten him. Forget just threatening the doctors. I would threaten Elvis himself. I would.